These are the most horrifying mythical creatures that you've probably never heard of.
Here are the most terrifying mythical creatures to ever exist. Again.
The Wendigo? Actually, I think I've heard of this one before.
Winters in the Great White North of Canada can be terrifyingly hostile, and for the native Algonquin people living there who relied on the wilderness for their next meal, starvation was a constantly looming danger.
Oh no,
in times like
not
these,
starvation.
when the natural food on the land is scarce, a human may be forced to make a grim yet simple choice. Succumb to death, pained by hunger, or eat a fellow human and be transformed into
eating a fellow human?
The creatures are described
Why
as
would you
looking
eat
gaunt
your
and
own
emaciated,
kind?
their gray, ash-colored skin stretched tightly over their bones. With lips tattered and bloody from feasting on human flesh, they stink with the odors of decay, death, and corruption. And their hearts are solid ice. It's said that with every meal, the Wendigo would grow in proportion relative to the size of whatever it ate, so that they could never feel full. Their whole existence felt like they were constantly on the verge of starvation, forever craving the taste of the people they once lived alongside. Interestingly, Wendigo psychosis is actually a term used in modern psychology to describe intense cravings for human flesh, and the paranoia that you could become a cannibal yourself. In our modern consumerist society, this isn't something most people have to worry about, but for native tribes in times of famine, it was a very real possibility that your next door neighbor and your next meal were one and the same.
No way. Kichisake Onna? That just sounds scary.
Kichisake Onna is a little different from the other monsters on this list. In most versions of her story, she was once the beautiful wife of a proud samurai. However, she grew lonely as her husband was always off at war, and so she began having affairs with other men in the Japanese town in which she lived. When the samurai found out about this, he was outraged, and as punishment, he sliced the corners of her mouth open from ear to ear.
Oh, ouch! That must have hurt so bad.
But that is not where her story ended, for after her death, Kichisake Onna returned as a vengeful spirit. She covers her face with a mask or other covering of some sort, and to most people appears as a completely normal, attractive young woman, clutched in her hand are razor-sharp scissors as she chooses her victim. Kichisake Onna might appear before you and ask you a simple question, "Watashi kirei?" which translates to, "Am I beautiful?" If you answer no, she will kill you with her scissors. And if you answer yes, she will remove the mask from her face to reveal her mouth, sliced open from ear to ear in a horrifying, joyless
scary.
smile.
I wouldn't want to meet this woman at all.
Or, how about now? If you answer no, or scream, or try to run, she will kill you just as before. And with her supernatural speed, there is no escape for a mere mortal like yourself. And if you tell her she is beautiful despite her disfigurement, then, using her scissors, she will cut your mouth to match her own. There are actually a few ways to survive an encounter with this creature. In response to her questions, you can simply tell her that you're running late and had best be going, and she will politely bow and apologize, and you can go on your way. Alternatively, you can tell her that she is average looking and leave it at that. Unlike most big YouTubers, I still try to read each and every comment I get, so let me know what horrifying mythical creatures you'd like to see the next time I do one of these videos.
Black Annis? That sounds so scary.
English folklore describes Annis as an old, blue-faced woman with a single eye. Beneath a great oak tree, she lives in a cave that she carved herself out of the rocks using her deadly iron claws.
Really?
On dark nights, she could be found hiding in her oak tree, waiting for an unsuspecting child from a nearby village to wander below.
Why a child?
If no victims were forthcoming, Annis would go into the village and reach through open windows and snatch children straight out of their beds.
Oh my gosh!
Once she had returned to her cave with her prey, she would skin the children with her iron talons and put their flesh aside for later use, before slowly devouring her flayed victims. Then, she would sew the skins together to make clothing for herself. Black Annis was mostly just a story used to scare children into good behavior through paranoia and anxiety, but she was also more than that. Houses in the town she was believed to inhabit were intentionally built with smaller windows to stop her from reaching through, and an otherwise serious-minded man named John Hayrick wrote a full poem documenting the village's knowledge of the creature, fully believing in her existence himself. Here's the full poem if you'd like to pause and read it.
The Krasu? It's written in like blood letters. That's scary.
Coming from the folklore of Southeast Asia, the Krasu is said to be the demonic spirit of a woman who committed various evil acts in her life, such as infidelity, murder, or drinking the last of the chalky milk. After she dies, the woman's sins cause her to be reborn as the demonic Krasu, which appears as a woman during the day and can walk among humans unnoticed. By night, however, the Krasu is able to detach its head from its body and fly off into night with all of its internal organs dangling from its neck.
That is
heart,
so terrifying.
Liver, lungs, stomach, intestines, and the rest all out on full display. The Krasu's favorite midnight snack is, unfortunately for you, the flesh of humans. She'll fly around in search of unsuspecting children and, when she can get them, pregnant women, cause it's a 2-for-1 special. Though sometimes she'll just extract the fetus and go. You can protect yourself from this creature by putting up some spiky fences or plants to guard your house, as the Krasu's dangling organs might get stuck in them. If the head cannot return to its body by daybreak, the creature will burn up in the sunlight.
Vitala?
The legendary Vitala are evil spirits coming from Hindu mythology. They're said to haunt cemeteries and, with no physical body of their own, they can take possession of human corpses in order to interact with our three-dimensional world. Once they've acquired a body, they get up to all kinds of unsettling mischief, such as killing children, driving people mad, and causing miscarriages. Basically a typical weekend's activities for me.
Why would they do that?
These spirits do evil things because they are the tormented human souls of those caught in the space between life and the afterlife, with nowhere to go from there unless someone performs their funerary rites to set them free. However, most people are more inclined to try to capture these spirits, as existing outside the laws of space and time, they have a vast knowledge of the past, present, and future, and deep insights into human nature, and so they make great slaves for sorcerers. As always, thank you very much for watching. My name is Alex, and I am really smart. Until next time, farewell!